So what are the signs of ageing?
It's dryness.
That's an age thing.
Yeah,
That's not just from... I'm in my 40s, and that's fine. I'm still young-ish, and 40 is the old age of youth. You know, because you're just coasting for years and little things are happening and kind of deal with it because it's gradual, and then all of a sudden, your neck's gone. The prospect of 50, it's not so fine. I mean, 50 is the youth of old age, and that's a different thing entirely. The main problem with 50 is that you're closer to death.
A midlife crisis is a cliche until you have one. And I think I might be heading for one. Before I got into my 40s, I always thought it was something only men had. You know, they do the Iron Man, they get veneers, start chatting up strange women on Twitter, or just panic buy a sports car.
This is nice, though.
But what about women? What does a female midlife crisis even look like?
And I think it's that spiral becomes tighter and tighter and tighter until in the end,
every month it's now, I have to get pregnant now.
I met 6 fearsome women.
You get to 54, you take no shit off anybody.
They all looked into a middle-aged black hole and came out the other side fighting. Sometimes literally fighting.
When I just whacked at one, I slapped her hard.
They are fixing their midlife crises, not with HRT and Valium, but with sex, sperm donors and tattoos.
Sperms are good swimmers.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that.
Yes, we're done.
Maybe they could tell me how to handle my crisis when it turns up.
Surgery. Thanks a lot. I think what I'm having at the moment is a pre-midlife crisis. I mean, I can see it. I'm definitely heading that way. I mean, I'm spending my time worrying about wrinkles and grey hairs and not being vital anymore. And I think, oh my God, if I'm like this now, then what am I going to be like in 10 years' time?
Life post-40 doesn't scare Nikki Pattinson. That's when it all started going right.
I could not have done what I do now in the way that I do it at 20, 30 or 40. So you know what? Roll on 75, because by that time I should be an absolute freaking genius, shouldn't I? Most people are frightened of selling, but you start selling the second you are conscious.
Nikki is 54 and she's a business speaker.
You are selling yourself into those friendships.
Companies hire her to motivate staff and increase sales.
I'm not sure that a lot of salespeople actually get it in their mind that putting those numbers on the board really does put you the Range Rover in the drive.
But Nikki's midlife years were the worst of her life.
When I got into my late 30s, I call it my time of demise. I lost my son really tragically. My mum died very suddenly. My father got terminal cancer. At that time, I split up with my lovely husband and lost all the money, ended up in a couple £100 worth of debt. And then I hit 40.
Her early 40s were spent as a single mother on benefits, bringing up her other son. But then she remembered the selling skills she'd learnt from running market stalls with her ex-husband.
Right, so this is my stall. It's Thursday morning. It's absolutely freaking rammed. All I did was take what I'd learnt on the markets, modify it, reapply it to cold calling, did 220 grand in 3 months, and that is it. Nikki were back on her way again.
Anyone who could turn their life around so completely must be able to help me get a grip.
Nice car. Hi,
Sharon, hiya, come on in.
Nikki deals in positivity. I've never really tried that before.
What I'm sort of doing is kind of like having a pre-crisis crisis. Because I think when you hit 40, you do suddenly start looking at life in a slightly different way. And as a woman, I think particularly, you do it a little bit more because, you know, things start changing and people's perception of you starts changing and people limit you.
If
right?
you let them.
If you let them.
Nikki doesn't let him.
You get to 54, you take no shit off anybody. You know, you will do exactly what you want to do and nothing is too big. You can go out and do whatever you want to do. So what do you want at 50? Tell me what you want.
I tell you, all I want is to be happy and comfortable in my skin, comfortable enough in my skin to not sweat the small stuff. That's all. That's pretty much all.
But what creates that? So what kind of projects are you doing? When people look at Sharon, what do they feel? Who are you? Because if you don't get clarity on that, tough chuffing, right, baby?
I've got no idea what they think.
Well, if you're going to create it, you've got to decide what picture you're actually painting. What are you doing? Who are you working with? Are you flying to Hollywood? Or are you making people laugh? What are you doing? Once you get that, it will become so. You can't have it both ways, Sharon.
Damn it, I wanted her to tell me what to do, not ask me a load of tricky questions. Back in her crisis years, Nikki had to work out what she wanted, so she decided to write it all down.
I started what has turned out to be one of the most powerful things I ever did. I started to write in a book where I wanted to be and who I wanted to be, as if I'd already got it.
Nikki took me to the place where she used to write in her book, the Yorkshire Dales.
This is a bit bloody gorgeous.
Well, that's what we're known for up here. And actually, this place has got very special resonance for me because when everything went wrong, I used to walk on these tops. I was like some mentalist Kate Bush with all my hair out behind me. And I guess I was trying to work out, you know, what had I learned? What could I do? Who am I going to be? Is it over? Is it just beginning?
Nikki wanted me to question myself in the same way and write down my fears. Where do I bloody start?
You just write in that book what you are afraid of and what is wrong in your world as you perceive it.
I'm not sure how I feel about this.
But does it work if you're a cynical person?
Probably not. If you don't want to believe it won't. No, but sorry,
I knew you were going to say that.
But that's reality. We can't butter this up to make it anything that it is. Of course not. If you're going, it's shit, it don't work, talks bollocks, then you're absolutely 100% you're right.
If cynicism is part of your personality, what can I do? I mean, what can people do about that? It's just, they should be allowed write in the book too, Nikki.
Well, they should be able to allow to write in the book, but then they've got to take the responsibility that it's themselves and that part of their personality that is creating the fact that it don't fricking work.
Oh, I'm scared of this. Okay.
And I don't want to see what it is. It's not to do with me. It's between you and you.
Even if it's really big.
Don't matter what it is.
So I can put my bunion in here.
Anything you like.
Okay. It's kind of scary writing it all down because it does make you look like a shit. But
in your perception.
In my perception, I don't think I would have put any of these things down a few years ago. So they're all kind of slightly related to being scared of what's going to happen. Okay.
Right, you get the pen.
Diagram. Okay.
Right, a massive line to the right-hand side. The end. There we are. Ace. The other side of that.
Yeah.
Right, now, the exact opposite.
The exact opposite?
Yeah, the exact opposite.
I've never done anything as positive as this in my life.
Well, do it every day for a week.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it chuffing seriously is.
Right, I've done it.
Brilliant. Right, tear out that first page.
Okay.
Bricker. Right, okay. Give me that book. Tear it into little pieces. It's gone. Forget it. That is going now. Tear it into pieces. Let's get shut of it.
What happens when you burn negativity?
When I do it, I just feel like I'm releasing it from my DNA because the part I don't like of myself is on there. So, my friend, that's gone and that's who you're left with.
Okay.
If you feel better, if you feel good at doing it and you enjoyed it, brilliant. You do it again and again and again. And maybe every time you do it, you will get slightly more out of it and that will become more real than the crap that we set fire to and discarded.
I am definitely gonna write in that book again, one day. Nikki was right to push me though. I don't really know what I want for my midlife, but even if you do know, how do you make it happen? Next, I meet two women who have decided, for very different reasons, that what they need in their midlife is more sex.
One thing I always take out actually is condoms. I usually have some in every handbag.
Could someone fill one of these? Could
Fill it? No. In your dreams, maybe.
Meeting Nikki didn't give me any answers, but it did make me realise something obvious. Being happy in middle age cannot happen unless you work out what you want first. But knowing what it is and fixing it, not the same thing. The next woman I met knows exactly what she wants. It's on her mind every minute of the day.
I don't walk around going, I want to have a baby, I want to have a baby, I want to have a baby. But, you know, it's there playing in the back of my head all the time. I do have a good life. I mean, I have wonderful friends. I have my own business, which I love. And yet, you know, it's the old cliche. I have this sort of yawning emptiness, you know, that sort of follows me around like a cloud.
Lila Knox is desperate to be a mother, but she's 48 and single. She lives in London and sells fine art prints. She goes everywhere with her dog Aslan.
Come on, give mommy the ball.
She's been married twice, but both times they split up before she had children.
People say, why don't you adopt? And adoption's fine, but it's a huge step away from being pregnant and giving birth to your own baby.
10 years younger, and this might have been a biological clock issue. Now it's looking like a crisis.
Yeah. The issue of being 48, as I am, makes it extremely timely. Every month it's now. I have to get pregnant now.
Getting pregnant usually requires a man and time, but Lila has neither, so she's going for sperm donors and insemination. Artificial insemination, or AI, requires kit. Lots of it.
I've never seen these before. I'm really, really interested.
My specimen cup. This
this
is the
been used
injecting device.
So do you just have to get a good purchase on it and give it a bit of welly? Get it
You
right up there?
don't really have to do it because the sperms are good swimmers.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that.
This is a lubricant that it
Conceive
actually,
pets.
plus.
Oh my God. Tell me that doesn't look like conceived pets.
Oh dear.
I would not buy that if I saw that on the shelf.
This holds the sperm in after you insert it.
Have you noticed that you get different amounts of spermatozoa from different men?
Yeah.
For example, could someone fill one of these?
Sharon, no.
I bet if David Hasselhoff.
In your dreams, maybe, but no, darling.
How much would you get? Like about 10?
Well, my most recent donor, who was 21,
Right. He's gonna have good ones.
he did fill almost 3 on this,
What?
which is insane.
He must have had a few goes.
No, that's one go, which is, I've never heard of something like that. Whereas one donor that I tried to do AI with, he could hardly get anything.
He
into
barely
the
coated the bottom.
Yeah.
But Lila also does natural insemination, or NI, which is basically, well, it's basically sex.
Purely just out of nosy interest.
Yeah.
How well did you know the NI guy before you NI'd him? Before he NI'd you, I mean.
He NI'd me about 2 hours, 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
And how odd did that feel? I mean, did you have a slightly out-of-body experience where
It felt a lot less odd than having a stranger do a wank in my bathroom and then having him go here and walk out of my flat and then I'm left to do the rest. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. But then, staring at a stranger's ovaries, also a bit weird. Today, Lila's having a scan to check how her egg follicles are developing, a kind of fertility MOT test.
We're just starting to pick up blood flow around the follicle. That tells us we'll be expecting a good quality egg. And also it tells us that you're heading towards ovulation.
Have you noticed over the years that there's a lot more older women coming to you? Not even being entirely sure whether they want to have a baby. They think, right, this is my window because everyone's telling me that post 35, I've got to go for it or I'm going to be screwed.
Women panic when they get older because of the negative attitude to older women wanting to have babies and older women having babies. But here, we see hundreds of young women in the 40s, you know, with no problems whatsoever.
I think it's so important to get rid of that panic and really be aware that it is entirely possible to get pregnant, have a healthy pregnancy, have a healthy baby, you know, well into your 40s and into your early 50s. Yeah. So it has relaxed me about it.
you'd advise to go for it, wouldn't you? I mean, this cycle, it's not. There's no point in.
I would advise.
You don't want to wait for.
I would advise, in your clinical terms, go for it. I think this is we're here for you.
Lila did go for it. She found a guy to AI her.
So what's happening?
So I had my ovulation window and we tried artificial insemination.
Oh, okay.
We did 4 AI.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And just to cover the whole window.
Yes.
Sounds great, but it's not totally straightforward.
He wanted to be a co-parent, but he's partnered.
Oh.
But his partner knows all about it and she's supportive because she has children and she doesn't want any more children.
It does sound a teensy little bit complicated.
Lila introduced me to him. Although his partner is fine with the situation, he didn't want to be identified, as no one else knows yet. Sorry about the voice.
You're either in a relationship where you can have a child and you have a child, or for a man, you're in a relationship or not, and you just become a sperm donor, which is, you're effectively just a DNA bank. And
Did that appeal to you?
No, it didn't. For me, that was not being a parent. That was just being a donor who then gets a knock on the door and
surprise!
Surprise, yeah. And can I have some money? So that's kind of, that's what I want to avoid.
Because 2 weeks ago, you were describing the whole AI thing as being like the most awkward, sort of almost horrible.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Within the 4 times that we tried, I had a complete epiphany because I started seeing this as potential life and being really exciting and having an entirely different response to it. So
that's a compliment.
It's great. It's mutual. There's no way to know how to. If someone gives you flowers, you say thank you. If someone gives you sperm, what do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you. I started off just thinking, this is bonkers. This whole donor, knowing them a bit, having a child with someone you've emailed with and had one meeting, and then next thing they're in your bathroom having a go in a jar, and then you're going to bring up a kid together. I just thought it was all insane, but it just feels like it's so right for both of them, and I'm really glad they met each other. It almost feels like romantic. It feels romantic in a weird way.
But there's no romance about a pregnancy test. In the end, it all comes down to peeing on a plastic stick.
Well, it's still only one line.
Okay.
Are we going to stand here for 3 minutes and stare at it?
Well,
99% accurate. This is a not pregnant.
that's not, you're not pregnant.
It's very clear too, isn't it? It's
yeah.
a very nice hard pink line.
It's sort of giving you the finger a bit.
It is.
Are you all right?
Obviously, I'm a bit disappointed because I was hoping I was
Yeah.
wrong. The first step has happened.
Yeah.
Which is the hardest, really, I think. Finding the right person
Yeah.
to do it with. So.
That's, I think, why I don't feel so panicky for you. The fact is you've already improved your chances by finding him.
Right.
I'm just going to cover that up now. Okay. Oh, thanks for doing your pregnancy test with me.
Say bye, Aslan.
Bye, doggy.
After I met her, Lila did AI again, but it didn't work. She's now starting fertility treatment with the same man. Like Lila, the next woman I met didn't imagine she'd be in the situation she's in now, in her midlife.
So what kind of things trigger a midlife crisis? Your husband leaving you, probably. Your husband leaving you for your next door neighbour. Yeah, that would do it.
I had a very short, sharp shock when my husband unceremoniously dumped me for the woman who lived next door.
A lot of women might have given up, resigned themselves to a single celibate middle age. I would. But not GAYNOR Evans. She's having more sex in her mid-50s than she ever did in her 20s, thanks to discovering younger men. You could call her a cougar. You could, but but she wouldn't like it.
A cougar gives you the wrong impression. We don't go out there, you know, hunting them down. They usually hunt us down, and we just give in gracefully, which is what I did.
Welcome to Cougar Town. Sorry, Enfield.
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you, Sharon.
Come in.
Any pictures of your husband up here?
Unfortunately not. I can't think why that is. I could find you one though if you'd like to see one.
I can't think why that is.
Do you like a cup of tea, Sharon?
I would
'Cause you
love
must
a cup of
Unless
tea.
you want a glass of wine, of course.
It's freaking 11 in the morning.
It's never too early for wine.
Gaynor's husband left her after 20 years of marriage. She had 4 children.
The only reason I'd identified the affair was an underwear receipt I'd found, and I'd worked out that obviously who it belonged to by the size. Because there was, yeah, I mean, she was a friend of mine. I knew sort of roughly what size she was. So anyway, that particular day, she'd put the said underwear out on the line to dry, in full view of my window. We discussed the underwear. I said, well, if I ever see it drying on the line again, I said, I'm going to wrap it round your neck and hang you with it. And then she said something else, and I thought, you know what, I'm done with you. And I just whacked her one. I slapped her hard. She staggered back and fell into some people walking up the road. Luckily, they broke her fall, which was handy.
I can't believe that you slapped her with your open hand and you still managed to send her flying into a...
Yeah, but I'm quite a big bird, aren't I?
Bloody hell.
I'm a big bird.
That's
She
the strength
staggered, but she didn't see it coming either.
I also can't believe that I smiled all the way through that story. But did you have a point where you just thought, my life's over?
Yeah, I did. As a woman, I was affronted. I was, you know, because he'd chosen someone else. I didn't know, how dare he, you know, after everything I've done, you know, I went through all that, you know, what's wrong with me? And you want to define yourself again, but you also want some male attention to reassure you that you're actually not that awful woman that nobody wants.
But far from it. She now gets more attention, and from younger men. And not just attention.
What do you bring out with you?
One thing I always take out actually is condoms, but I haven't got it. There's
Always?
I usually have some in every handbag.
Every handbag. You are prepped, girl.
I really wanted to see Gaynor in action, but her boyfriends were too shy to be filmed, so we set her up in a blind date with a guy called Paul, who likes mature women.
I'm sure he's fine.
Hello. Hey. Hi, hello. Nice to meet you.
Too.
Paul, isn't it?
Paul, yeah.
Nice to meet you. Hello. Have you had any long-term relationships?
Yeah, I've had a couple of older women.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're a bit of an experienced hand then, are you?
Yeah, I would say so. Putting it politely.
They were getting on fine, but I hadn't thought it through. I felt really weird watching them.
I feel like some kind of pervert, like some kind of dining dogger. That's what I feel like. Sorry, do you mind if I just...
No,
okay.
Hello.
This is too weird. Hi, I'm Sharon.
We meet.
Nice to meet you.
too.
What's your name?
Paul.
Paul. Hi, Gaynor.
Hello.
Is there a big difference between just an older woman and someone who might be termed a cougar?
Very big, yeah.
What's that,
Cougar
man?
is like an eagle who comes down and grabs what they can and takes them back to the nest.
Then completely, you know, eats them for breakfast.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So with your older women, have you ever felt that you were like the medicine for a midlife crisis?
I don't think this is a midlife crisis at all. She just purely likes younger men.
Yeah,
Because older men don't do it for her. That's it.
Yeah, but it can't be that simple. Gaynor being 30 years older than her boyfriends, there's got to be drawbacks too. It can't be all champagne and condoms.
So what would you say to older women who are dating younger men? What are the pitfalls? Have you had your heart broken, do you think?
No, luckily not. I don't know if my heart is capable of being broken.
Wow. That's handy.
You've got to know yourself. You've got to know what you can and can't deal with.
Yeah.
And if your expectation is to have, you know, a lovely, passionate affair with a young man, but expect him to come shopping with you and carry your bags and
go to IKEA
and meet your mother, and no, that's not going to happen. But if you just want some really nice, quality time with someone that's going to make you laugh, it's going to make you feel alive and fresh and have some great sex, then it's great. Listen, it's a benefit. I'm not going to lie to you there, am I? I mean, they are, you know, very capable of sustaining a huge amount of time in the bedroom, to put it politely. And yeah, they do grab it like a steam train. And that in itself makes you feel, you know, amazingly good, because obviously they're choosing you to do that with.
And that is when I stopped worrying and learned to love the cougar. GAYNOR knows what she's doing. She's not looking for Mr. Right anymore. It's a transient joy, and she knows she's worth it. To get me back to the blind date, she got me on a girls' night out. The bar was full of city boys on a Friday night, which is always a joy.
Hey! The scenery's just improved!
Being GAYNOR's wing woman, but it was still bloody scary.
GAYNOR's looking for a younger man.
Again.
All right,
So,
again.
you know,
So how old are you? do we look like ladettes then?
A little bit, nicely.
I mean, God, I wouldn't want to work that hard just to, you know, feel young. Attacking your midlife crisis by having a real sort of zest for life and is a good thing, but for her, but to me it's having to be on it all the time. She's like, hey, party, I'm on. I don't want to be on all the time. I mean, that makes me feel tired now. I'm like 42 nearly, but I can't imagine in 10 years time that being, oh my God, she's pulled. She's pulled. That's a turn up for the books.
Next I meet Bee, and a middle-aged girl's best friend, the lip doctor. And a woman who downsized with a vengeance.
And it was almost, I suppose, like striking a razor under my whole life. I just wanted the whole lot gone.
I do worry about looking older. I would love to be one of those people who doesn't care. I absolutely know it's not cool to fret about your looks. I know this.
How does that feel on your skin?
It feels like I've gone back in time. So that is why I don't tell anyone that I've got a folder on my computer full of surgeon recommendations and cosmetic procedures. I'm not going to do anything with them, probably. It's just nice to know that I could get my neck stitched into my ears if I need to at any point. Oh my God. Young hand, gnarly old hand.
Middle-aged women often say that they feel invisible, that no one looks at them anymore. But what if you decide, oh, well, I'll just fix that with a bit of surgery?
When I walk into a room, I like people to look at me and think, wow, I don't want to be grey-haired, looking as old as I actually am.
This is Bee. She's 47. She's got one grown-up daughter and a teenage son. She lives in Liverpool. A family tragedy in her 40s made her want to change her life.
My brother was really ill, and then unfortunately he died, and that kind of triggered me to start looking at my life and reevaluating it. I just didn't want to sort of sit in the background, be like a middle-aged housewife or anything like that. I wanted to be vibrant and alive and feel I was attractive still, you know, rather than just a mother. From there on, I kind of decided that I was going to do exactly as I pleased, and I left my ex and set up my own life, really, and reinvented myself a bit, I suppose you could say.
How did you reinvent yourself? Give us a list of everything you've had done top to toe.
Eyebrows tattooed, and then the upper eye lift, and then I've had Botox to the middle of the forehead, to the top of the forehead, down the sides of the eyes. I've also had some Botox in my neck, because obviously you start getting the turkey neck as you get older.
Yeah, my neck's going.
And you know the cord starts, you know, do Deirdre Barlow.
Yeah, I'll get a Deirdre Barlow when I shout.
I've had my cheeks filled, I've had these creases filled, I had a dimple filled there. I think that's about, 2 breast augmentations.
Don't forget the massive boobs.
Yeah, 2 boob jobs.
So do you think it's done the trick?
Yeah.
Do you get checked out a lot?
Yeah, but to be honest, it amuses me a lot of the time. But then sometimes.
Are you amused now?
Oh,
I can't
yeah. Well, no expressions on the face. Frozen.
What happens when you're feeling sad? What happens to your face?
I think it's my mouth goes.
Do you ever miss the expressions
God,
from your old
no.
face? No.
No.
It hasn't changed. You don't sometimes look in the mirror and think, who are you?
No, I think I'm who I want to be.
Being who she wants to be requires upkeep. Her go-to guy for this is the lip doctor.
What's the name of the doctor who runs this clinic?
Fab.
Fab?
Yeah.
Dr. Fab?
The Fab One is a long-haired doctor from Liverpool whose actual name is Fabrizio Acquisi.
Hi. What are you having done now, by the way?
Juvederm Hydrate.
Juvederm Hydrate is a skin treatment. The end result is going to be plumper, slightly thicker skin.
Don't you think Bee's had enough done?
I think Bee looks absolutely fantastic for her age.
She looks great for her age, of
We have no wrinkles, we have nice cheekbones, nice mid-face volume. There's nothing overdone or unnatural there.
Before the injections could start, Dr. Fab covered Bee's face with anaesthetic cream.
Do you get a lot of women of Bee's age coming in, who are having a bit of a midlife crisis and just want to feel happier?
I think a midlife crisis is a little bit harsh. You know, we all want to look fresher. You know, we're all under pressure of modern life.
No, but it does happen at a certain age. I mean, it happened to me. It happened to me where I just thought, this is shit, you know? It's all downhill from here. I'm not going to be able to pretend to be young for too much longer.
Yeah, I mean, that was me at 40. You know, I'm 47 now. I've got a head full of Botox, clearly, and my aim is to be as smooth as Simon Cowell.
About a year ago, I'd noticed that every time I laughed or smiled, I had a ton of gum on show, and I thought, that's not a really good look.
That's an easy fix.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I did, because somebody said that to me, and I went and got
Botox
there and there, and
when you smiled, marvellous.
It was awful.
Did it feel funny or did it look funny?
It looked funny.
Right, so maybe there may be an operator error there,
nearly
but
killed me. What would you recommend that I have done? Don't look too close.
What bothers you, Sharon?
Just, you know, looking tired, big fat pores.
There's nothing wrong with the way you look, and I wouldn't tell you you need a damn thing. But you tell me what bothers you, and I'll offer you a solution. And that's how it works.
Is that the trick?
That's the...
I just told you.
If the lines bothered you here, we could do botulinum toxin. If when you smile you didn't like lines showing here, we could Botox.
I don't mind lines really. Lines are.
But at the end of the day, if it doesn't bother you, forget about it. And likewise, if I can't see things at normal social distance, forget about it.
All right, I'll have a think. He did point out my lines up here without me asking. He's going, you tell me what you think is wrong with you and I'll tell you what I think I can do. If you want to get these lines done, I think at a normal social distance, I'm fine. And when I reach a point where at an acceptable social distance, I'm not fine, you know, maybe I'll have a rethink, but I don't think it's going to be the thing that fixes this slight midlife crisis, because you step into that world in there and it's all slightly skewed, and I don't think I want to have that slightly wonky view of what looks right and what looks young. I think it's a little bit dangerous.
Whatever I hate about the physical element of getting older, there are bigger things to worry about than wrinkles and jowls.
There is a fantasy that hits you in midlife when you're in the middle of all the working and the responsibilities and the mortgage, and that is, could I set fire to my life? Just leave it all behind, escape, radically downsize. And it is tempting, but not many people have got the balls to actually do it.
I thought I had a pretty good life. People told me I had a good life. I had a very good job. I worked very long hours. I was very, very well paid. We had a beautiful cottage in Herefordshire.
Marie ran her own software consulting company. Turning 40, she looked at her life as a working mother, wife and businesswoman and thought, this is bollocks.
I think a midlife crisis turns up when you exceed your ability to live up to other people's expectations. I wasn't doing my job particularly well because all I was doing was thinking about what I was missing at home. And when I was with the kids, I was worried that I wasn't doing my job properly. So you end up in a complete tiz and getting nowhere. And I think it's that spiral becomes tighter and tighter and tighter until in the end.
Marie decided that the only way to avoid a total breakdown was to escape. She would radically downsize her life.
All I could think about was I have to get out of here. We have to sell everything we have. I wasn't actually sure or cared where I was going. I just wanted this completely gone. Just sell everything, right down to my shoes. Just sell the lot.
How many shoes did you have altogether? How many pairs?
Just under 300. No
That's
excuses.
quite a lot of shoes.
I wonder if she's including slippers in that. But Marie's shoes represented her career woman life. Throwing them away was harder than she thought it would be.
It was like a kid in the sand, you know, just sort of covered myself in shoes.
You covered yourself in
Covered
shoes?
myself in shoes and just sat there for a minute and
That's
you think...
so sad.
I know, and then I cried for quite a while. They were just a symptom. It could have just as easily been spoons. It could have been my books. Those shoes were mine. They were my little bit of stuff that I did. Didn't have to share them with them. Nobody else wore them.
Even
no
though
kids.
it was bonkers.
Even though it was bonkers.
It was your bonkers.
It was my bonkers. Yeah, everybody has a bonkers, you know.
But the shoes were only the start.
We had a party and we said it was an I'm getting rid of all my stuff party. Come and take what you want. So we sold everything we wanted. Everything that went, it was like off the list. And by that time I'd got quite into sort of, let's get rid of everything. I'd sort of...
That's amazing.
One mood swing.
How liberating that must have felt.
Yeah.
Just come into my house and take what you want.
What you like. This was the house we were living in.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. Okay. The rusty tin is ours.
That is a big
Except on
change.
Langotton. Yeah.
From the farmhouse and the 300 pairs of Jimmy shoes.
Marie went to live on a derelict narrowboat outside Cambridge with her daughter Charlie.
This is Charlie. This is Sharon.
Charlie.
Husband Jeff.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you.
And son Sam.
Hello, Sam. It's very narrow.
It is a narrow boat.
Sam has a bedroom. He got a door for his birthday.
Really? Wow, lucky old Sam having a door.
It's the first time he's had a door for 7 years.
Wow. You put all this in, this bathroom?
Yes.
Wow. I don't think Joseph Fritzl could have done a better job in such a confined space. Where do you sleep?
Just where you're standing. Wow. This converts into a bed. And we sleep here.
How do you do it?
Everything has 2 uses, and we have the riverbank. We have as much space as we can possibly use.
There's got to be a downside to this life. What is it?
It's not a downside. It's
I mean, this is a downside to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, we're used to it. I mean, we can still stand side by side.
It's like permanently camping. It takes 20 minutes to fill the tank for a cup of tea.
It's full!
You can't get any slower than a stationary boat. I do fantasize about running away and downsizing, but I can't see how I could do it.
I think I'm just slightly addicted to the adrenaline of my life, you know, and like, what do you do to replace the buzz from working in a high-powered, stressful
I suppose,
job?
I mean, it's a bit of a strong analogy, but I suppose it's like coming off heroin. Eventually, you just don't need it anymore, and you look back on it and wonder why you did.
Wise words, which unfortunately fell on deaf ears. I'm not ready for withdrawal, the slower life. I'm not even ready for patchy mobile coverage.
It wasn't just a simple downsizing, it was everything, your entire outlook changed.
We became much happier with a lot less. I don't miss the stress, I don't miss the worry. I actually know what my kids look like, and I actually managed to talk to my husband.
Yeah.
And we're actually so relaxed, we actually can laugh occasionally. Quite a lot.
Most of the time.
Quite a lot of the time.
It's too small. Their house is It's too small.
I keep trying to find where her discontent is, and there's none. She's contented. Nothing annoys her. Gosh, that's good, isn't it?
The next woman I met walked out of her life and into a new one. Why have a midlife crisis when you can have a midlife crazy? That's what the Americans call it.
Oh my God!
You look amazing.
No, you look amazing.
I used to think midlife crisis was a cliche and only applied to men looking up their first loves on Facebook, panic buying sports cars. They fear running out of time. Nicola Benson didn't buy a sports car, but she had exactly the same thoughts. What's it all about?
Sometimes change can be scary, and I didn't know if I could do it because I'd never done anything so brave before.
Here she is at 37, and here she is at 41. In between these photos was her midlife crisis.
I think, when they say crunch time comes, it really does come. And I think if I'd have stayed any longer, I probably would have had some kind of breakdown.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, how are you? Lovely
I'm okay. So when did you start feeling like, is this it? Kind of feeling?
Oh, probably not until I got to my mid-30s. I kind of felt, if I don't leave this job now, because by that time I'd been there nearly 20 years, same commute every day, seeing the same faces, very Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is it I really want to do with my life?
She went to night school, took her friend's GCSE and got a new job. But changing work wasn't enough to fix her crisis.
I've been with my partner for 7 years, and I just came home from work one day, saw his car on the drive, and my heart sank. I thought, oh my God, I've got to say something, and I've got to say something tonight. He just said to me, are you okay? No, I'm not actually. Don't think it's working out. And it just went from there. Even though we weren't married and we didn't have children, we'd invested a lot of time and energy.
Yeah, we had a certain life together,
we had a life together, and, to suddenly say, I don't want it. My mum is very much, oh, Nicola, what have you done? You're going to be on your own. And I think, well, why is that a bad thing?
You kind of waited until your 40s to do your rebelling.
Yeah, I'm going backwards, so God knows what I'm going to be like when I'm 50.
Good afternoon, Rockabilly Cats.
She moved to London on her own, where she discovered the 1950s Rockabilly scene.
I went out on a Monday night to this pub, and we walked in, and there was all these couples jiving and just looking amazing. And you know that scene in Dirty Dancing when she's carrying the watermelon and she walks into that bit where Johnny and all his colleagues work and they're all really gyrating. It was like that. My mouth just literally hit the floor and thought, oh my God, this has all been going on under my nose and I never even knew it.
Wow, I'm having some of that,
yeah,
you thought.
That's exactly how I felt. I thought, I want a bit of this. I've kind of woken up a little bit. I was in a fog for so long. It was like I just couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered with my hair, my makeup, what I was wearing. And then when that relationship ended and I moved away, it's just right, this is where my life starts really. And I thought, I'm really gonna go for it.
Oh my God!
You look amazing.
No, you look amazing. Bloody hell, lady.
No, well, if you're going to do something, do it properly.
Just from how you looked on the bridge, I feel like a different woman. Hello.
Nicola's got a new boyfriend.
Fine, how are you?
I'm all right, I'm Andy. How you doing?
Sharon.
Good day, Sharon.
No, you're all right.
Yeah, I'm good, you?
She met Andy online 9 months ago and they've just moved in together. They celebrated with matching tattoos.
So yes, I had this one done because it matches the one that Nicola's got on her arm there. Same
Yeah,
thing.
it's got the look, but it's different enough to sort of not look too psycho.
Yeah. It's not a stalky tat.
Nicola's now got 9 tattoos. This is going to be her 10th. Her design is a smashed pocket watch showing the time of 7:30.
The time you met Andy.
What made you say that?
Well, no reason.
But you're right. God, I'm such a walking cliche, aren't I? Love it. Fine, yeah. I am a tattoo whore. Well, I definitely want him and her on the backs of my legs, kind of like facing each other.
Him and her what?
Well, this is it. I'm still kind of thinking.
Towels. Get towels done. I think when you get tattoos in your 40s as a woman, it is a bit of an FU, you know. It is a bit of a late-term rebellion. And everything that Nicholas had done, it's not like an 18-year-old going out and just go, oh, just but whatever, just put something on me. Every single one of them really means something, and it's all, you know, getting rid of the past, that was shit, this is the future, it's gonna be great, and it suits what midlife crisis is all about. Is that everything? Oh no, oh wow.
That one is to mean just trying to be a little bit more sexy.
Does
it work?
But yeah.
Ask him.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a real transformation.
Yes, we're done.
She properly came out of a bad situation and made it brilliant by changing her life.
Women live a long time. I'm gonna live a long time, and I need to start seeing my midlife for what it is. It's the middle of my life. It's not the end of my life. And the women I met, they didn't just think, oh, this is crap. They just got hold of their lives and shook them. Getting older and saggier and closer to death, it's not the cheeriest thought, but it is a chance to make some drastic changes. And I don't think women did that before. I think they would pop a Valium and just go quietly mad behind net curtains. I think a fully blown, well-executed midlife crisis is the way forward. And if that doesn't work, I'm just gonna hit the gin.